folks, good morning. Let's see if we can get this orientated in the correct way. All right. Let's see, where's a good place for this thing to be? Put it down here. I thought I had one of them little sweat things. There it is. Hopefully I don't knock it down. If I do, it's on the ground. Okay. So we're back to building the crashed 109. And we just got putting the tail down, the tail wheel. Just got done putting the tail wheel down. Okay. All right. So next thing we're going to do is let me make sure that chat stuff's up. Chat filter. I changed it yesterday and somebody said they couldn't see it. All messages. Everything's up. Anything else we need down here? Okay, we're good. Okay. All right. Happy Sunday, folks. I got some. Well, that actually works pretty well. To remove the remnants of green stuff. I was working on green stuff here a couple of weeks ago, and it stuck to this cutting mat, which I don't normally use cutting mats, but I splurged a whole $4 for this one. So I don't like destroying things. That's what they're for. I still don't like destroying things. Oh, it actually gives you the option to do a tropical version. I didn't know that. I know it's backwards. Nothing I can do about it. I don't know why it displays the screen backwards, but tropical version 24. Okay, so we need to do this long piece. It's piece 24. Let's see if it's still attached. It's 35. $24 right here. This tropical air filter with a shitload of flash on it. Good morning, Linda. If you guys are into plastic models and you wanted to see what kind of I'm surrounded by them. This is all stuff I picked up yesterday. It's, I didn't actually mean to pick all this stuff up. It was just too inexpensive. It was at prices that, as I like to think, is never be available again. So this thing cost, actually this is one of the more expensive ones. It cost $4. So I've been wanting to do a plane objective, an objective plane for my war games, and it's going to be crashed in the desert. You think even an expensive model? I think the most expensive model I got was $10. A $10 model is probably going to take me, by the time I build it and paint it, it's probably going to be close to 20 hours worth. So that's pretty cheap entertainment. Goku. Goku has like a monitor symbol. That's cool. Welcome, man. Good morning. Okay, always want to make sure that these things fit on here like they're supposed to. And I'm not going to gap fill anything on this because this is supposed to be a wreck. So, there's an engine cowling on here. And if it's, let's move the cockpit out of the way. And if it looks like there's a little bit of a gap, that's good because it like exploded or whatever. And it popped it out of, actually I need to add gaps, if anything, not remove them. I would normally use tweezers. Even my rubber ones are too slippery. That's the hardest thing about modeling small. I've actually bought a model. One of the ladies at the show was like, these are really small to build. I'm like, it's a piece of cake. The hardest thing is not even seeing, it's being able to, if you have to sand something that's very small, it's hard to be able to hold it still in a way that you can do that. Okay, this is the tropical filter, supposedly. I'm not going to go research and make sure it's the correct one. Okay, that's not what the purpose thing. And I'm not an airplane guy. That doesn't mean I dislike airplanes. That just means that I'm just going to go with what these guys say. That's good enough for me. So I'm going to build it completely built. And then we'll decide how much to damage it. You don't have to damage it a whole lot for it not to be able to fly. So, the propellers are probably going to be bent, these two. I don't want to pre-bend them. We can do it after the fact. Heck, they can be broken, All right. The 4 halves of the wing. This is how I got it. I got it in pieces parts. These are the 2 undersides. These are the 2 tops. Let me make sure the chat filter's on again. Okay, something's happening. I came in and I'm being proactive about putting the message thing. I see your messages now. And it's not showing up. It shows me 2 messages and stops, which is exactly what happened yesterday. All right, here we go. Good morning, Tony. Watched the first hour of yesterday's live session. Wow, what a haul. Plenty of cool stuff to work on. Am I going to butcher the canopy? I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. Let's take a look at it. I haven't really paid attention to the canopy. I might cut it, because this part doesn't move. I don't know, Jeffrey. I'm not going to install it when it's built. So, a couple things. I couldn't find anything on any of the aircraft. On what kind of aircraft, whether it was Italian or German aircraft. Well, here's the reality. There was no Italian aircraft in 1/72nd scale at this show, except an MC-202, which may have been on this airfield, but it didn't include any decals. So I'm like, okay, well, I didn't want to spend $2 for a kit and then $20 for a set of decals. So here's what I'm thinking. There's a video game called Forgotten Hope 2. It's apparently based on Battlefield 2, which I've never played. I think it's a free download. There's aircraft on this airfield, and one of the airfield is a city City Rosé Airfield. I don't know how accurate it is, but it is a different, it's at least something else to look at. I think I'm going to look into going and getting in there and somehow looking at the map and seeing if it sheds any light. I may just make this, it's definitely going to be a crashed Messerschmitt. Now, whether it's one that's sitting at the airfield, you know, like this, ready to take off, the Crusader tanks come in, shoot it up, and it, you know, it just falls over and there's some stuff in it. Definitely some bullet holes. It doesn't take much to make a plane unflyable. A tank is a lot more drivable with some damage than a plane is flyable. So I don't know. I really don't know. See, there's a gap here. This didn't. I'm not being super anal retentive building this because it is going to look damaged. But the holes of the airplane do need to go together. Otherwise, it would have just fallen apart. I don't know. We're learning together. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I don't know that I have a vision. I want it to look as I want it to look as good as the two wrecks that I did, the two armored cars, which I think is achievable. Yeah, let's seal up that. The bottom, I'm really not too worried about the bottom. But I'll fuck with it anyways. I enjoy this process. You know, it's therapeutic. Good morning, Ben. I have zero expectations. I have zero timeline. Other than I need to get some of these things knocked out so the next show in June I don't mind going and getting some stuff. The Walrus, I searched a little bit on the Walrus and I found somebody has a decal set or a paint scheme for a Walrus was on at Sheffield. Sheffield's one of my favorite British cruisers. It just seemed to be everywhere that I thought was interesting. It was at the New Year's Eve battle. It was in all the convoy battles. It hunted the Bismarck. You know, it had a really cool paint scheme on it. I had a model of the Sheffield, well, 1/2400 scale, if you want to call that a model. Old shiny. I got a book on the Sheffield. A Walrus on the Sheffield seems appropriate. So as long as the roundels are similar, I'll hand paint the part where it says Royal Navy something or another. That's, you know, that's a piece of cake. So it doesn't look perfect. It looks going to look perfect enough. You know, like the lettering. Sehr gut. Sehr gut. All right. I like the idea of this 20 millimeter firing through the hub. Because I'm not flying in the damn plane. Then I wouldn't like it. I wouldn't want to fly in a plane to begin with, and I certainly wouldn't want to fly in a plane with a crooked spider on it. It's just bad juju. Okay, that is not a piece of flash. That is a tab for the landing gear to rest on it. So that's what I'm going to skip. I'm actually not going to attach the landing gear because if it was flying and crashed, the landing gear would still be in there unless it was trying to land and it crumpled. Okay, so we can add that later. All right, these two halves crumpled. Was that World War I German plane, the Rumpler? The Crumpler. That fits together pretty good. I mean, it's got raised panel eyes instead of recessed ones. Okay, whatever. You know? Damn it. The Fumbler. Batman should have an easy time catching the Fumbler. He won't get far. He'll trip over his own shoelaces and isn't even wearing any. What was your favorite thing what I got, Marcus. Is there anything I shouldn't have bought? Is there anything that you're like, man, you really shouldn't have gotten that? Or that wasn't the right price for that? I tried to remember the prices because, it's not that I'm trying to be frugal, but I don't need anything. So the reason that I got this much shit is because I had to. I just had to. Like, I'm not going to not get a Sherman for $2, especially with a dollar tanking. It's even cheaper now. Wait, that's not how it works. I have really good self-control because I imagine myself like, all right, let's pretend I bought this. Am I doing anything with it? No, it's just sitting somewhere. All right, well, I don't really need that. But it's $2. I'll never see that again. You got to make hay while the sun still shines. Now, I don't really worry about getting fingerprints on this thing because this thing's going to be charred. Not completely. We are going to paint it correctly, then damage it. At least I think that's what I'm going to do. No comments again? What the fuck's going on? All right. Let me, it's on all messages. Let's go to top messages. Then let's go to all messages again. No. You guys all fell asleep. That's all right. I just don't want to miss. You guys could be quiet. I just don't want to. I don't intend on missing the stuff that you guys type. But, it's technology thing. It sucks. I think you guessed it. I like the early war German heavy tank. I know you. I figured you out. I would have liked that too. I wouldn't have liked it had it not gone to Barbarossa. Well, I would not have gotten it if it was just in Norway. I wouldn't have. I don't mind painting Brits for Norway. I'm not painting Norwegians. They're not cool enough. They're like less cool Finns. Finns at least could have capture equipment and stuff like that, but captured vehicles and stuff. Nothing against Norway. It's actually one of my countries I would love to visit, but now I'm probably not going to glue the wings. I've also had my eye on the Japanese infantry guns. As you know, I've got plenty of Japanese kit to work through. Yeah, I talked to a guy at length who had some colonial Spanish buildings, and at the War Game show. I usually end up talking to him for a long time. And, of course, he does 28 millimeter. And he was like, yeah, these would work for like Manila. And as soon as he said Manila, we started talking about 1944, the Philippines, and how that's probably what I would do when I go to the Pacific. Just to be different, because I've never seen anybody do it. And it's like a full land combat. Like, you're far away from naval gunfire. Like, naval gunfire makes me not want to play the island stuff. You got to do New Guinea, which lots of people do New Guinea. Burma's another thing. Never seen anybody do Philippines. 42 or 44. It's funny, how a lot of people go into the wearaboo mode. I'm like afraid of like doing too much American stuff. Because, wargaming is mostly a British hobby. And I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, it ain't got Americans in it, I'm not interested. That was never me. I'm a bit of an Anglophile, actually. When it comes to World War II, I kind of like things that the British were involved in. I don't know, I just think their stuff is cool, I can make fun of your accents. No, I like it. I love roundels. Anything with roundels, I love them. They just look really good. Oh, here we go. That one weird tank they only made 5 of. Yep, if you don't use it for Norway, there's another idea. Allegedly, one was used for Volkssturm practice so it could make an interesting wreck terrain piece. So I'm sitting at the show, and I'm looking at the history of it. And 5 were made. 3 or something went to Norway. I'm just ad-libbing here because I don't remember what the article was. And only one got into action in Norway. I'm like, okay, well, that's not a selling point. And then I'm like, and then I keep panning down and it says, oh, after Barbarossa. I'm like, what? And apparently one got into action and got taken out by BTs. Put it into action with a T-35. That'd be a good scenario. I recently purchased a Waterloo Folgore set. My next Waterloo purchase will probably be Folgore heavy weapons. Might be a bit of a waste, such a unique kit. It also seems Dragon made 2 kits for it, but I'm not sure what the difference is between them. Well, this one's going to Barbarossa. That's close enough for government work. And it's like, it's not a kit I would normally buy, because it's normally like a $30-something kit or something. Let's make sure this fits together. But you know, this has raised panel. The only problem with the raised panel lines is I'm going to be using a lot of Nuln oil here. And by doing that, it's going to look like none of the other Messerschmitts because it didn't have raised panel lines. It had the recessed. But like I said, it's a wreck. It's an objective. As long as it looks as good as that Humber, as long as it looks equivalently as good as the Humber and the 222 that I built for the desert, I'm going to be happy. The other thing I thought about is getting a Stuka. You know, at some point I said, that's enough, because I could have picked up the Fujimi Stuka that I used to have that I sold. I think they wanted $5 for it. It's got beautiful cover art on it. There's a book in the milk drinking Nazis memoirs, Rudel the milk drinking Nazi. He didn't drink alcohol, he just drank milk. Oh, that seems like he's, you know, that's a nice guy. Yeah, but he's a Nazi. Oh, fuck him then. That's a book I read a long time ago before I, you know, have a disdain for him. He's a badass, don't get me wrong, but, you know, not a fan of Nazis. And where he goes and he lands to go rescue somebody. He goes and lands his Stuka. And I remember it was some field and there was Russian guys there, or at least he said this is how it happened, with a bunch of Russian guys like rushing to stop him or whatever. I'm like, well, there's a scenario. But and then with a plane like a Stuka, I really wanted the Lysander. This one guy was selling, the guy that was selling 4 kits for $10 was selling a Lysander, was one of the models, but it had no decals. And I didn't want to spend, you know, $250 for the model and then $20 for decals for it, you know. And I can't paint roundels. If the Messerschmitt didn't come with Balkenkreuzes, I can paint them and do just fine. Roundels, no. I'll be like, circle, all right, let's look at it. Now this one needs a little bit more. I spend 10 hours on each roundel. I mean, that's a bit extreme. That seems a bit extreme. And the reason I'm not going to glue these wings is I may not want them to attach. I want them to look like they're, you know, limp a little bit. You know, like, let's see if I can get that. I might decide that it'll look better looking like this when it's crashed. I don't know. And if it's glued, then I have to try to break it. And all it is just a little bit of glue there, and you're done. All right, here's the 2 wings. Anything go on the wings? No. Okay. The rear ones, I think same situation for them. We're not going to glue them down. I don't know what I'm getting into. You know, it's kind of like the first time that I painted a snow tank. I'm like hesitant. After I do one, I'm like, all right, I know what I'm doing. You know? I mean, I know what I'm doing. This actually will turn out just fine. I just don't want to create extra work for myself because I did something that I would have rather not done in that step. All right, so the way the rear tail section is joined, You want to make sure that the stabilizers are on the bottom. The way this is joined, I think I'm actually going to glue this, because if I do need to crumple it somehow, yeah, I'm going to glue the back. I'm not going to glue the big wings, but I'll glue the ones in the back. I had a Messerschmitt from MPC, and it could have been this one. I don't know. You know, back when I used to hang things from the. Oh, look at this! This got bent and damaged. Well, if it breaks, so I guess no, nothing I shouldn't have gotten. Maybe the 110. Then maybe the ME 110. But that was like the last thing I picked up, and the price was right on it. But I didn't look at it in detail. It only has one set of decals, and it's not the original ones. So can't build a hornet looking nose, and I can't build the one with a shark mouth. So maybe I'll like the whole crash plane thing. I mean, it's definitely good for scenarios. Go rescue this guy. He's some ace. I don't know. Was there a German ace that flew a 110? I bet there was. He might not have been a super high scoring ace, but. Dragon made both versions of the Mintel. Tony has the Running Mintel version. Picked up both kits when Model Zone went out of business and have a metal Krupp for Norway. It was kind of Jeffrey for the lore. Thanks for the info. Which is, so the one I have, did it go to Russia? What's different between them? Don't make me make a knocked out one. It's like when I picked up that model of the Porsche. When I picked up the model of the Jagdtiger, right? The reason I picked up the Jagdtiger is Noble Knight had it. So I used my credit in selling stuff that I didn't need back to them. If I didn't have anything to do, I would have picked up a bunch of these kits that were buy two for $4. So that's $2 a piece, and sell them a Noble Knight and get credit. That's way too much work. That's way too much work to do all that kind of stuff. Why is this a little limp weenie who wants to keep falling down? I guess we got to babysit this thing. Maybe I'm grabbing it by that and pushing it down. Captain Hamfist. Okay, where do we go next? The stabilizers. All right, I'll go ahead and put them on there. I said I can break them if that's what I want to design. I may just want to make this thing like it just. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. I hope the splotch pattern turns out okay, because I actually don't like that paint scheme at all. You know, the yellow with the green splotches. I think it just looks shitty. Laura Man Jeffrey. Now you guys got me worried about these filter messages. Okay. There's a hole on this side. Why? Porqué? All right. Which one of these two sides is up, or are they the same? They might not be that different. Yeah, Mitch is. I was wondering, why the guys didn't continue making. Well, not continue. They've never made one. A DBA video. Why didn't they make a DBA video? And hell, they can't even take pictures right. And I'm not a good picture taker, but I at least look at pictures what they look like before I post them. But Mitch must have cataracts. Oh man. Well, had I played DBA, I would have been like I think the fourth or fifth player. People just aren't interested in playing DBA. People are just weird. Like they ran Art de la Guerre one time, and they had like 15 people supposedly, and they went and ran it again, and like 2 people showed up. Gamers are some nomadic fucks. So like, do what you want to do. If people show up, that's cool. If they don't show up, that's cool too. But don't base your happiness around other people showing up for your game, because you're just going to be disappointed. You're just going to be disappointed. Not everybody is as can be counted on like Marcus and Ben and Jeffrey and Tritarch. You guys, and I'm sure I missed a few others, but you guys try to come on here if I'm on here. And I mean, I try to do the same thing. I don't like, hey, I'll be there and you're not there, but don't base your happiness on other people showing up, because this is an old kit. It goes together really well. It goes together really well. I watched a video on molds or something at the Airfix factory, and it didn't tell me what I really wanted to know. What I really wanted to know is, how do they make the original? How do they take an original, we'll call it a casting, and turn it into a model? Maybe they don't want to show that because it's proprietary, but trust me, I'm not going to start a model company and go into business with them. Against them. It goes together really well. You found a set you forgot yesterday. 1815 ex-Mas, Italian Social Republic that fought for the Germans after the 1943 armistice. They were fight your metal Italian resistance. Who's the guy that makes those guys? Is it CP models? CP models that, yeah, here it is again. It's bent down. I must be grabbing it a certain way. I'm glad I'm making a destroyed model. How about I just fix that at the very end? I must be putting my fat ass fingers there. Fingers isn't where my fat is. Okay. Canopy. Nothing else there. Underside. Is the underside just on here? It is just on here. Okay. Good. Let's move. Flip for the back side. We've got the air intakes. 39 and 38. I don't know why they're labeled differently. They better be two separate pieces. Well, one of them was popped off. This one's 38, which means this one's 39. And 39 goes on this side of the plane. Let's check for fit and finish first. Looks good. Yeah, the sculpting on the Waterloo figures looks a lot like Italeri. And I don't mean the Italeri that was not the Eschi Italeri ones, but the Italeri original ones. I can't believe that. I can't believe that guy that was like, oh, this is $3. Oh no, it's $5. I said, well, it's got $3 written on it. That's the old price. The old price is more. I mean, it's less. Well, I'm not going to argue with him. I'm like, all right. Yeah, does $2 make a difference? No, the principle of it makes the difference. It wasn't something I really wanted. I wasn't dying to get it. I'll get it next time. You know, I've got plenty to work on. You know, the problem with getting the Fairy Sea Foxes is that I know they make a decal set for on the Achilles at River Plat, but I got to buy it. So I'm like, all right, well, I just saved myself from ordering decals. Decals, sorry. He shot me in the decals. Let's make sure we have this on correctly. It tapers towards the back. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got a lot of things to work on. But these must be older Airfix Shermans because they don't come with any stars on them or anything. So District Miniatures is going to get a call from them. Going to have to order something from District Miniatures when the time comes. Now, if these decals are no good, which there's a chance of it, I'm just going to try my hand at painting them. So, like I said, I hand painted some of the stuff on the Humber. It just needs to look as good as the Humber. It'll be just fine. All right, landing gear, M6, a pair of the 20 millimeter cannons. I'm sorry, the 7.92 millimeter cannons. 37 and 42. 37. It's the same piece. Why do you label one for one side and one the other? Let's get this thing out of the way. Okay, and let's get a little bit of sandpaper. Let's take care of that before we go and have to work around the machine gun. Way too abrasive. Way too abrasive on that one, too. Is this even sandpaper? Holy smokes. That's too soft. This one. Let's make 2 out of this. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just doesn't need to look like it's a plastic toy. Oh, I just remembered another one of your purchases, like the Crip Prots. That was accidental. That was totally accidental. I got excited about that. I'm like, oh my God, it's a freebie. The old Airfix Sherman only came with a British version with yellow triangles for the turret. It was only in the late 80s that they did the 2 schemes and stars were added. Well, they're going to be American. If I get any British ones, we'll get one. We'll get proper ones from Plastic Soldier Company or something. Now the question is, how far do these things sit in? Okay, assuming that's correct. It seems like Airfix has much bigger gaps in their product line than Matchbox. Matchbox seems like they had more complete things. Maybe that's not the case, but is Airfix producing new kits still, or they're just still kind of getting by with the old ones? Yeah, I would have liked to have a Fischler Storch, some Italian aircraft. I don't know if it's reasonable there be German and Italian aircraft on this airfield. It doesn't really matter. This doesn't have to be an airfield plane. This could be just one that they need to rescue something from. We do want to make sure that they're same distance out from each other. Okay, that's good. So this basically means this thing has 4 7.92 machine guns. What are they called? MG-15s, MG-13s, one of those. I think that's right. And the 20 millimeter fires through the nose? That was 220s. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. You know, you're not gonna be able to do like that Godzilla movie and take on Godzilla with the machine guns from a plane that's okay. We got that part done. Piece 36, even though it's on the bottom, it'll probably be damaged. I'm going to go ahead and install it on it. There's a little right angle. See if I can find it. If I don't, it must be this. It must be this little guy. There it is. It's probably the antenna. They're producing a mix of new tool and re-releasing the old original toolings and vintage classics. Well, I think, aren't they the ones that had the Tiger 1 that has no turret box on it? Like, that's weird. Is Armor Fast officially out of business? I wonder if somebody's going to get their molds if that's the case. It's actually to me, the last two things I bought were the only things that were kind of questionable. And when I saw it, it's like, oh, it's a chance to build a Tamiya kit for $5. I'm like, that's awesome. Because I really can't do Tamiya unless it's aircraft. They don't make 1/72 scale stuff. And that place had a lot of 1/48 things. And I'm like, I don't like 1/48 scale. I don't, never have. Okay. So this is done. Then it gives you I'm surprised it does this. It gives you a choice of landing gear, up or down. If you have the up one, the wheels are already connected to it. If you have the down one, the wheels are separate. But they have these pegs. Oh, I see, because it has the interior part. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and build the wheels. And just not attach them. This is one of these things that would be total hell as a kid. Like, you're trying to put the landing gear down and the wheels are so delicate, and you're like 10 years old and you want to play with it. Wheels won't last long. Wheels aren't going to last long. Okay, here's the tires. I'm not going to keep the sprue that has the extra filter. The European filter as opposed to the African filter. Yeah, we're not going to keep that. And again, here's the problem with this flash. This was not too bad. Nowhere to hold on to it. Sure this fits okay. It does. It does. There's a tiniest of little burrs here. If I entered the model contest, I'd have to pay I'd have to wait around until the judging was done. I don't understand what the attraction is for these folks that are so interested in entering a model club, a model competition. Like, he's like, oh, I just want to do it because I got the best model there. Well, somebody's going to reply, well, this guy actually models better. He couldn't be bothered to show up. You know, it's like, I don't need to outdo other people. If I see somebody's stuff looks better than mine, good, that I like better than mine, good for them. It's empowering. It makes me want to do a better job. It's always going to be somebody better than you. Libim. We're not putting any bombs on it or anything. I'm probably not going to save them. Really start creating a lot of chaos. You got bombs laying every which way. I don't know. Make a little marker with an unexploded bomb. Yeah, okay. Now you're getting to. I did get excited about those Goliaths though, because I never would have bought Goliaths. Never would have bought Goliaths. They're like a weapon system. I forget that existed. All right, here's where we got to be. Here's where we got to be careful with. Okay, this is the one that goes on this side. So it goes at this angle. And the cutout is towards the back. This is an easy thing to screw up. Like this one. I haven't left any of the old DVA groups, but I noticed there was you guys had some kind of a DVA competition in the UK where like 22 people showed up. Man, we haven't had a competition in the United States with 22 people showed up for DVA since like 2006. I probably still would do DVA if there's that many, if you could get that many people playing. Maybe. Although I don't regret it. I mean, does this look right? Should match this. Yep. Ah, okay, should match this. Something queer as a foot. I think I just found an error in the model. I don't know which is right. I don't care. I'm going to build it this way. Let's see. This one goes towards the cutout in the back, and the wheel details on the outside. So I built this one the way it told me to. But the equivalent one closed would be this one, and it has the detail on the inside. Well, this just doesn't have detail on the. They just decided to short you the detail on that. There's like no hub detail there. There is on this side, but not on this one. Does it bother me? No. I just wanted to build it correctly. How it's like, well, we gave you all the tools to build it correctly, and you didn't pay attention. And no, I'm not going to make the. Hey, let's make it look like there's air missing in the thing. Yeah, not on a wreck. I don't even know what I'm going to do with the landing gear. It might be crumpled up underneath. I really don't know. Okay. We have that. We have this. We have the two wings. What else we got? There's not much left. There isn't much left. I mean, there's nothing left. Yeah, so this would go like this. This would go like this. The landing gear, whether or not it's crumpled. But see, if I'm going to make this thing crash landed, I'd like the wings to be kind of, like down, right? Like nothing, like there's kind of a weak point. Now I have a piece here that wasn't used. What the hell does 49 go? It's almost like it's an aerial. And there is an open hole over here, but I don't think there's a part that juts out of the side. Where is piece 49? Oh, there it is. It goes on. Really? Here? Oh, it goes on the cockpit. All right. Well, they were nice enough to give me a little baggie. So I'm going to take this little baggie. And in that baggie, we're going to put... Actually, we'll keep the pilot. The pilot actually looks pretty freaking decent. He's got a good face. I mean, he's got a gunshot wound. But he's actually a good-looking pilot. No reason not to keep him. So we're going to put the canopy there. ¿Dónde está? Here. We'll put the canopy. We're going to put that little piece that goes on the canopy. Looks like you picked up some Revell German Pioneers in the Israeli plastic box. The Goliaths come with that set. I have 2 Goliaths from the set and 3 Borgwards in resin in the stash. Now, supposedly, these things Don had in his attic. When I opened the box, it smelled like the plastic was breaking down. Probably from being in the heat for a long time. Should I maybe put them in the freezer to kind of undo some of that? Or am I overthinking things? Obviously, before I ever paint them. Okay, we'll put this in the baggie as well. Okay. Try to be methodical about this. We're going to put the landing gear in there as well. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and put the wings in there. Real gentle. We're going to put the other set of wheels in there. We're going to put the pilot in there. And why is there a fucking hole on this side? Why is there a hole on this side of the Messerschmitt? bomb. Yeah, I'll go ahead and. This isn't a piece, is it? No. That's not them. Where's my glasses? Okay. Oh, good. It's a top. Oh, thank you, Jesus. It's one of these kind. I'll just throw this stuff in here. I'm not going to be a member of the Airfix magazine. I don't need this other filter. I don't need Italian instructions. That's going to go out to Paintland. Well, that was quick. Next. Let's look at the Walrus. I said I want to do an aircraft, but I don't want to learn on a wreck because I want to know what aircraft look like good, and then you build a crappy one. Because then you know what that is correct. So let's take a look at the Walrus. Let's put these instructions in here. Not that I can't just pull them off of ScaleMates. You know, if I don't do anything else with the Messerschmitt, I think that was worth the money. It was fun. That was fun to do. It's fun to do. This thing looks really diminutive. Really, really diminutive. But I am not a scale Nazi. Oh, I'm not a. Well, I shouldn't say. I'm a spelling Nazi. But I'm fine using 76. I mean, I got a 187 scale tank. Be right back. Let me get a soda. Let's take a look at this. Before I say fucking go build a Krupp Prots. Keep your pants on, Marcus. You know, I want to work on stuff that I'm going to paint next. If the Krupp Prots was built, I'm not painting it next. You know? It's a shame these guys went out of business. I think everybody liked Matchbox stuff. I think your wife found some of my miniatures in the freezer. She checked me into an assisted living home. Well, there's worse places you could go. You could have to work at the office. I think it's likely these are going to explode. And one guy in a model group says that, oh yeah, there's no problem. You cover these in clear, and then you do. I tried doing it. Maybe I wasn't holding my mouth right. Good golly, this thing is brighter than, oh god, 1973. I was still in diapers. Let me take a look at this and see if that's what I want to tackle on it. Beautiful instructions. Here's the old cover. Oh, it's like this looks like that seaweed thing. You know what I'm talking about, Marcus? That green like seaweed snack thing. Like, I doubt it tastes like that. It might taste salty, but that's about it. Made in England. Not Scotland, England. Not Wales, England. Oh, it comes with a stand. Lesney Productions and Company, Limited. I always wondered if these guys were armed, but I guess they were. Now, can I get away with building this and then painting it? I don't want to paint shit in between it. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to build these and then I'm going to spray them down with the because I don't want to put these in somewhere and then scrub them somehow and then the pieces break off of here and they disappear. Let's see what this crew looks like. The Airfix guy's better. But they're not bad. Nori. Oh, dude, it's orange. We're gonna put this thing together. This is what I feel like doing. I'll leave the canopy off. I can reach anything I can paint. All right. And the thing about aircraft is they always make you want to do the most boring shit first, like the cockpit. And I'm going to be my 8-year-old self and say, I don't give a fuck about the cockpit. I just feel like doing aircraft. And this thing costs $4, man. And I was going to do an unboxing on all these kits. First of all, it'd be a shitload of work. I don't ever get more than 100 views on these things. I'm going to have more people watch this live, or I'll get more clicks on it than I will if I make an actual video, and I don't have all the trouble to do of editing the video. This is a bit brittle. It's a good looking aircraft. Man, a fit on it's pretty darn good. It's got raised panel lines instead of sunken ones, whatever. Not putting pilots in them. All right, give me some seats. They did the typical, this is the same piece, but it's 4 different numbers. Well, ain't nobody care about that. I got to build some of this stuff because I want to get more. I want to go to the next show. And I want to paint the Messerschmitt today. At least attempt to. Or the Walrus, or both. Or at least start on them. Prime them. Airfix version had a Vickers K in each gun position. Oh, so it's different. The K is the double Lewis, right? I think that's what it is. Or I'm sorry, the double, um, a double Vickers. Or a double gun. Man, these are slicker than snot. And it's a mold release. It's been on there for 4 decades. Probably can't even see that. I like these people that have so many kits and say, I saved the boxes because I like the artwork. I'm like, you're not putting the fucking artwork all over your room, man. That's, maybe if it didn't have all the writing on it. The artwork does look good. If you like the artwork that much, I'm sure you could probably find a copy of the artwork online with all of the blah, 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 blah removed on it, and then frame and put that. That Messerschmitt really went together really fast, didn't it? Kind of nice. Said I totally would have gotten a Lysander. I would not make. I don't think I would have made the Lysander crashed. I think the Lysander it's got robust landing gear, and those guys flew in and flew out all the time. Sneak attack. They come in and deliver something to France, like, I don't know, beans and toast. Trade beans and toast for croissants. Yeah, the French got the shitty end of that one, that's for sure. I don't love all French food, but French bread food, oh, yes. Yeah, they got that shit down. All right, I did have one Matchbox kit that somebody gave me as a birthday present. It was, I think it's the Gnat. No, not the Gnat. It's the aerobatic team, Red Arrows, whichever one that was. The little jet, an unarmed jet, and of course I thought it sucked because it was unarmed. Now I got to make sure that this is in fact flash, and not something that's important on the plane. Okay, it's flash. I never put them together correctly. Like, this is a piece of cake for me now, but when you're 8 years old, this requires some patience. Oh, here we go. Hold on a second here. I can't remember if I told you, but I tried out the Abbas thinner, and that stuff is the absolute best. I'm telling you. When I suggest something, I really hope that it works for me. I do not want to lead anyone down the wrong way. So if I tell you something's great and it isn't for you, something's wrong. Or I've lost my mind. I guess that eventually will happen one day. But it is great, isn't it? I wrote the guy back and said, listen, I found he was on Facebook. I friended him. I'm like, dude, it works on craft paint. He's like, it does? I'm like, yep. You're smarter than even you thought. And there might be something out there that works better than that. But it was all products I already had, so I wasn't using, so there was like zero risk for me. Time for the dog walking. Okay, man. Fullen Nat was the Red Arrows plane till the Hawk in the 70s. So I was right. So it was Red Arrows and it was the Nat. I don't know. Well, it doesn't have guns on it, so it's not my responsibility to know about it. It's just like the space program. I've never been interested in the space program. No guns. It's just not exciting without guns. Sorry. You don't have to kill people to have guns. It's just, they're cool. Or weapons. Let's just say weapons. No, you hadn't told me. I'm glad it worked out for you. You know, like, I don't want things to be frustrating. Because I've been there before. I mean, when I was a kid, you get frustrated by something like, I don't know what to do with this. So you work on another thing. And then you run into something else. And then that doesn't work either. That's kind of fun to throw these things around. We do it one more time. And then you build this thing up and, that's no good. Fuck that. You move it. And you have a bunch of half-built things. I've been there. It's, it's discouraging. Well, find him on Facebook and send him a nice note. Send him a nice note. That's what you should do when somebody helps you out. Like say, hey, listen, I appreciate, just like you just did, but I mean, because people will do stuff like he does. He'll make this long article on how you need to do it and all this stuff and everything. And then the first person that comments is like, you can just use I don't know what the big deal is. I can use rubbing alcohol. Like basically like squash somebody trying to help someone with like one sentence, right? Not like you're wrong because of all this stuff. It's like this guy put hours into this to help everybody. And then some keyboard commander writes two things and squashes it. And other people look at it and go like, yeah, I'm not going to bother this guy because the first guy that commented said it's crap. It's just, that's not cool. That's not cool to be that way, After the issues I was having clogging, it completely alleviated them. I'm still getting the right ratio down with the Viejo Air ones, though. Yeah, I started thinning the AK, because remember, I was like, you don't have to thin AK. You don't, but it works a hell of a lot better with his formula. I mean, I didn't have tip dry once. Like, that's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. So, what I really want to do is use the Abbas method with this. Okay? And this, supposedly, we can get it down to whatever. Maybe we can work down to 15, and you go under 15 PSI, it starts getting too erratic. Put this on 15 and then dial it down even more. And let's make some magic happen. Look, there's some people that have done airbrush things that are amazing. And I know for a fact, I'm not trying to pat my own back, but I'm really good at painting shit. Like, if it's like, all right, mister, you're great at doing airbrush things, wizard, let's hand paint stuff, I'd blow them away. Like, or at least I think I would. So I'm like, if those guys can do that, I can fucking do it. We just have to find the right formula. We have to find, a boss helping us and different people helping us out to make sure that we're not like, incompetent, Like, I can do that. I've held the same frustrating job for 31 fucking years. I think I can do that. So, there's just a lot of misinformation on the internet. So, when you find something that's like, this is good, like when I was getting my first airbrush, there's so much wrong information out there. You need to do this, you need to do that. Everybody's an expert. And then they throw their grenade and they go back in their rabbit hole. And then you have to suffer the shrapnel, What the heck is that thingamabob? Which thing? Oh, this? Okay, so I did this in unboxing. So I had read stuff about me And this place is great. I know it's backwards, so, but hey, scan me. Does it work backwards? Everybody that helps me. This is the Spray Gunner is a store that has all kinds of airbrush stuff. And a couple of years ago, they did not have Awada stuff, but now they have Awada. This is a universal micro air control valve quick connect. So it's a quick connect. Warning, I haven't used it yet. I should be able to quick connect the airbrush. It fits underneath the handle. And once you have the airbrush at a certain pressure, you can use this to micro dial it. So in other words, don't change the pressure on your compressor. Leave it at 15 and then use this to reduce the air going into the airbrush. So I don't know. We're going to try it live. You know, I don't like doing shit not live. So I'll try to do it in a time where you're still awake today. The only catch is I have to buy replacement parts for my airbrush because I'm a retard. Okay? I'm a retard and drop my airbrush on the ground. So a couple things. I'm going to put the handle protector on. So when it falls, it doesn't fall on the needle and jams it into the freaking thing on the other end and have to replace that. And I got one of these so I can mount this to my work table and so my holder isn't stuck in on the vibrating compressor where it's vibrating out and falls down, which is what happened. So, actually, last time it fucked up, I had the compressor on the ground because I was airbrushing that big mat. So I had the compressor on the ground. So it only fell 8 inches and it landed right on the back and jammed the needle into the nozzle. And I could not get it out. And I poked myself 3 or 4 times, like drawing blood, because you're exerting all this force in this tiny thing, and it must have jammed it in there so bad. So, hey, shit happens, you know. Let's learn by our mistakes and not make the same stupidity again. It was not on camera. Thankfully, I invented a few curse words. Well, I was really mad. I was really mad. Because it was one of those, I started getting I should have this done in a certain amount of time. I know I shouldn't do that, and I say I shouldn't do it, but I kind of did. I wasn't getting a lot of progress, and then I had that thing fall. And I've had it fall, my normal painting table is about this height in the garage. It fell 9 inches and jammed. I'm like, it's all right. I learned something not to do next time. So I'm going to keep I didn't put that little tube that goes on, the little cup that goes on the front of the nozzle that's to protect the front of the needle. You never use that because you get tip dry. So you need to have that accessible so you can kind of wipe the tip. You don't have to with your boss's stuff. So I'm going to put that thing on the front. I'm going to put the thing on the back of the handle. And, we should be all right. I'm glad I didn't film that one. I didn't film that one because the compressor was going on constantly. And it would have been a long video that didn't have a lot of progress. Because it's going to take me a long time to airbrush that felt thing. That's okay. We'll get there. It'll look great. But it did cause me to buy another needle and another nozzle. Actually, I bought, another needle and another nozzle. In the 0.35. Because, I can use the 0.35 with all of Avasa's stuff. No. I had to buy 2 nozzles. I had to buy the 0.5 one that's ripped somehow. And I didn't work. Because when that happened, I'm like, all right, fine. I'll use the 0.5 with the nozzle that has a rip in it. It doesn't work worth a damn. The thing with airbrushes is like, if you don't have a controlled airflow, it doesn't work worth a damn. So if you have some kind of an air leak, it just does not work properly. Not like, oh, it should be easier to use with a thicker paint. No, it just doesn't work. It didn't work for me anyways. All right. And I like these vague. Just put it there. Just, here's an arrow, just put it there. And there's like no ledge. I guess they want it to, it's all the same chair. This is going to take some adjustment. I don't care about painting inside right now. If display stand is to be used, it's not. Clear slots B. Really? Oh, I see. I see. Well, what's it? How tall is the display stand? I thought I said you weren't going to use it. Yeah, shit happens. Well, it's semi-transparent. I'm going to glue it together and I can clear that out later. All right, we got these chairs to put on here. I was a kid. I already put it on. I already put it on wrong. Gotten glue everywhere. We've all been there. I think the very tippy top of my needle broke off, but it's the part that never really fully retracts, so not cause any problems. Yeah, they're really delicate. I mean, I'm a pretty cautious person, and I've broken some stuff. You know, if somebody has trouble with something, if I have trouble with something, other people have been tortured by it. Now, see, here's the thing. There's this little ledge for it to sit on, but it doesn't tell you there's no notch on. There's no notch on here, so you don't know where it's supposed to fit on it. It's just kind of like, yeah, just put her there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to cover as much of this opening as I can. So when you're looking at it like this, it's covered like that. Aren't you going to paint it first? I'm not. I'm not. Maybe I'll regret it, but I don't think I will. And it's just sitting on this one little spot. There's an equivalent spot on the other side, but that's some precariousness. That's some serious precariousness. Oh, did I pick the wrong side to do that on? Okay. All right, we'll do it on this side first. Because there's a ledge here, but not on that side. Okay. And then another one, same scenario on the front. I want to put it like so we cover all this stuff. I could just like paint it with some black primer, but I think I'll be able to dribble the black primer in there and cover everything. No regrets. And this one also faces forward on this ledge. with a lot of empty space. That somehow I have to kind of put it in the middle somewhere. I'm going to have to adjust that. Okay, you good? You good? All right, before I glue this, eight-year-old can't do this. You just said, fuck it, I'm not going to put any seats in it. Yeah, look what the front canopy looks like. There's a lot of empty space in there. Where's the super tweezers? That's horrible. That's a horrible fit on the cockpit. It's somehow supposed to be in the middle. Well, I'm definitely going to be able to get black around that. That one's okay. I'll take things that would drive a 8-year-old crazy. What's the age on this? Or is this back when men were men and they didn't put the age of things? Or they didn't put it on the outside. Men were men and it just made you grow hair on your chest. Yeah. Oh, you guys will love this. In the RAF, machines were used for air-sea rescue operations with great success. Aircraft were affectionately known as shagbats. Oh. There's three dudes in there, so they can have a three-way shagging. Shag carpet. Is that because it's extra padded for, well, shagbat. This might actually be a super glue thing. I might actually have to super glue this. I hope some of the other stuff is better designed than this. This is pretty poor. This is pretty piss poor. There's enough dust on these things that I can feel it affecting my sinuses. It's all right. We're just taking our time with this. A shag bat. You know what that sounds like? That sounds like a lot lizard. You know what a lot lizard is? It's these ladies that frequent truck stops. friendly with the truck drivers. Lot lizards. And they have leathery skin, supposedly. Nothing? I didn't miss a bunch of comments, did I? No. Shagbat. This is not fitting well, and this is not in the center. So we're going to take this, we're going to loosen this up. Scooch out a little bit more. Oh, and there's only one side of it. Oh, this is trash. There's not a cockpit, there's not anything. Well, it'll be a closed cockpit. So a lot of the problems with this will be hopefully hidden. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. We have a bubble canopy on which ones? The front guy's exposed. What about the guy in the back? He's exposed too. That's a problem. That's a problem because there should be more to look at on the inside than there is. I mean, there's a lot. There's nothing in there. There's nothing in there. Like I said, worth $4. All right, let's see if we can pull this thing apart and not fall apart. Or the seats move. Okay, I think we're good. Now, with that said, we can add a little cement there. You can add a little cement there, a little softener. I should say softener, not cement. The two tail pieces. We can add more as we need to. Now, I hadn't used this thing in a long time, but I'm probably going to use what's the thing called? Helping hands. The helping hands are really helpful, hence the name. And they were really helpful when I was doing the die-cast cars, holding the two halves together and stuff like that. We're probably going to need it for aircraft. Okay. And somebody said, oh, you're supposed to hold the halves together and then dribble this down in between the joints. I'm like, yeah, that's how you get fingerprints. Like, I don't think I'm ready for that. We could get those fingerprints off, but I don't want to create more work for myself. All right, now this needs to shift a wee bit. But a B1 for aftermarket parts, I don't know. I don't know, but I don't want to turn a $4 kit into a $40 kit. And at the end of the day, you still have raised panel lines when you should have recessed. So, all right, where are we going next? Engines. This is gonna look bright as a Donald. It's gonna look like Donald Duck when it's built, like color-wise. I've got what do you call those things? Rubber bands to use. They're sometimes more trouble. They exert too much pressure. Sometimes they put too much pressure on things. That's a lot lizard experiment. You got a lot lizard that's doing that. You got problems. Had you heard that expression before? A lot lizard? I didn't until I got into the stuff that I do for a living. I never heard. What the hell's a lot lizard? Yeah, there's a whole lot of empty inside this thing. I mean, look at this. Here's where the pilot goes. There's nothing around. There's no console. There's no, which, you really don't need a console. You only see the console from this angle. But man, there's nothing else around him. This makes like the inside of a boxcar derby seem like, furnished. Soapbox derby. Boxcar derby. Soapbox derby. Yeah, one of those things. Furnished. Oh. Be right back. What I don't understand is Matchbox makes tanks, or they used to, tanks and aircraft. The aircraft are 172nd, the tanks are 176th. Why? That doesn't make any sense. Pick one. A kit of its time, it meant to be built quickly and not very detailed inside. Yeah, it's not one we use this way, though. Yeah. I'm sure they have them there. They're just called something different. Maybe they're called shag bats. They're leathery like a bat, that's for sure. This is really quite enjoyable. Slags. I didn't know the same people that made the what was that game? Uh, Brothers in Arms are the same people, or at least the same company. I don't know if it's the same designers that made Borderlands. Speaking of slag, Borderlands 2. This works better. Get it kind of together, and then slide those tiny little bristles in. You don't get it all over the outside. I mean, it fits together well, other than the damn seats. Matchbox went with 176. That was the scale that Airfix used and wanted to tap into their market by producing models that Airfix did not do. And see, that's the right way to do things. That's the correct way to do things. Now, some company would be like, we want to tap into the market. We'll make them in 11.3 millimeter figures so people have to buy them from us. You know, it's adversarial now. Instead of like, hey, let's all co-op. Like, you guys gonna make any more tanks? Now we don't. We're not gonna do Japanese tanks. All right, we'll do some Japanese tanks. You know, or whatever. You know, kind of help each other out. If the decals don't work on this, I'm gonna have to order decals because I'm not painting roundels. So I hope they work. Yeah, I'm enjoying this. Even it's taken some time to press it together. You know, I'm pressing it together, and you don't have it doesn't unpress. Like all the gaps go closed to me. Mind the gap. All right, engine time. 9 and 10 on the A fret. On the A sprue. That's the B sprue. 9 and 10. Here's 10. ¿Dónde está 9? Oh, I just saw something cool. Excellent. You could actually make these two holes closed. If you don't put a figure, I might do that. Then I got some Lewis guns I can use for something else. I don't have to make that decision right now. Okay, where the hell's 9? Here's 10. 9. Oh, it's in a different color? Awkward. All right. Oh, no, you don't. don't. Now, one thing I would not have liked to get, and luckily I didn't have it, I would not have wanted to get the Airfix Churchill. Because the Airfix, first of all, I want to get the Plastic Soldier Company Churchills because they're big, okay? And doing all those little road wheels that are visible, that is a pain in the ass of trimming. I have one. And one of the tracks went kaput. That's why I didn't finish it. But it's like diminutive. Now, a bunch of Airfix 176 scale Shermans doesn't bother me because I got a lot of 176 scale Shermans. Having T3045s or 176 scale doesn't bother me. All my other T3045s are all 176. Had they been 72nd, that's fine. So you just have some that are bigger. You know, I'm okay with that. I explained that to somebody at the model show and they thought I was, going to burn in hell for that kind of, like, dude, it's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal. It's either that or all the stuff that I had as a kid, I had to throw half of it away because it's one scale or the other. You'd be using a scenario just to model me. I don't think this will be used in a scenario. I'm just building this just because I always wanted to build a Walrus. I have a thing for float planes because I used to play naval war games a lot, and you'd stop to launch them, and the Walrus was kind of the most common one in World War II off of ships, or at least capital ships, and then and cruisers. I always thought it was a good looking plane, kind of a lumbering plane, not unlike a Walrus. But and I saw one, it was $4. I'm like, that's the right price. And the thing about float planes is you don't have to worry about putting the landing gear up or down. You don't have this terrible decision. Like, it's in float plane mode. I think this has wheels that come down or whatever, just a wee tad. And I'm like, nah, we're just gonna put them like they're stuck up wheels. Get out of here, you and your stuck up wheels. I never would have done this as a kid. Oh, pre-fit things? Nah, screw that. Wouldn't have done that as a kid. We sure these two things go together like this? They got an opening in them. Oh, does it go in between the wings up? Oh, it must go up in between the wings up here. That's why. All right, I guess we can do that then. This is how you do. You put these countersinks, you put them on the inside so you don't have to clean them up. Show my collection of everything? I can't. It'd take too long. I can tell you everything that I picked up over the weekend, though. I did a video yesterday. You can check it out. It's detailed. Okay, set this thing off to the side. B11 and 12. That's the two engine parts. 11 and 12. The outside of them. So based on the fact that I got some Goliaths that I wasn't expecting, and based on the fact that I got that cursed book, it's likely that whenever I get to build that Elephant / Ferdinand, they're going to be Ferdinands. That's likely to be the case. I just don't know what to do with the dragon one, and I don't know that I'll repaint it. Maybe I'll enhance it. Maybe I'll leave the paint job the way it is, and like put like the Nuln Oil wash and stuff like that on it. Maybe that's the way to do it. Interesting. It says top. It's got to be that way. Oh, okay. There's a little top, same top. Okay, that's the top like that, right? Right? And the single peg, yeah, that's how I had it. Yep. Somehow that's got a little bit, I think that's going to keep it from closing. All right, well, that's what we're going to do is we're going to eliminate this thing then. Peg sticks out too far. That's the top. Just like so, all right? Yeah, I don't know what scenarios I'd be able to use this for, like rescue some commandos or something like that. I don't know. It'd be a little too involved, like for what I'd be thinking about right now. 14, 13's on that side here. Let's go ahead and pull 13 off first. Let's make sure these don't snap. I think there's a peg at the bottom, so let's not cut that off either. Man, this thing is bright. And I'll do the same thing with 14. I wonder when these things are going to dull out. It's funny because I see some oxidation on them already. There's a little bit of pitting. This goes on this side of the drawing. And then we also have 15, which is a nose cone looking thing. There's a little bit of pitting there. Not like, oh shit, we gotta get rid of that, you know, but here's 15. You know, I like the models because sometimes you feel like building stuff. Now let's hold this in a way that we're not going to put undue pressure on it. It doesn't have to be perfect. So what I plan on doing with these planes is we're going to prime them black, of course. Why would I do anything other than that? Spray the colors or paint the colors on there. Then give them a wash. The wash I'm going to give them, I think, is going to be the soft tone, not the strong tone. And then treat them the same way I do armor, other than, we're not going to weather them with colors that are on the ground. Well, at least not with a Walrus. Now, the Walrus is cloth covered. I'll have to look into that, because if it's metal covered, then I'm going to do the same, obviously not a whole lot, but the same rustification stuff that we do with the tanks. It's not going to put more pressure on it than that. We don't want a broken piece of plastic that then we got to cater to. I don't remember which side's which side. Oh, fuck me. All right. Does one say A and one says B? It does. Yes, so that's the one on this side. Thank you. I didn't do the inside. Is the inside? Yeah, I guess I got to do that. It's not very much flash. It's okay. I may just bring this to the next model meeting, because it's a ship theme. No, it's not a ship, but the big damper is going to be if the decals explode. If the decals explode on this thing, I'm not really in a hurry to spend money on a decal set. Okay, and this one has the B on it. Okay, and the B is there. Okay, so this is with the top being like this. And there it is, it says top on it. This should fit. Interesting. It should fit like there and like there. Okay. And this should fit this isn't cleaned out. Never going to fit in there if you don't clean that out. And this one's going to fit in. Huh. It's sitting at an angle like that, right? That's really interesting. It's not. Ooh, I see an incorrect thing. There's an arrow this way, and the top is here. So it'd be like that. It seems like it should be rotated 90 degrees because otherwise it's not. How strange. It's not. It's like it's not straight. Well, okay. Let's just do what they have, and we're going to not glue it in place. We're going to just. This fits okay. But you see how it's not straight there? It's kind of off at an angle. Now, I don't know if it's supposed to be that way, but it just doesn't seem right. It's almost like, okay, well, let's line it up this way. And then when you go to the other side, so I have my doubts. So I'm not going to glue it if I have my doubts. If you go on this side, it's not even all the way through. See how it's skewed over to one side more than the other? But I've got top where it says top. So I'm going to, maybe the real engine was that way. I mean, it looks like it's sitting right. So let's just move forward and then we'll glue it when we absolutely have to, you know? This cone goes on the front. We're not going to glue it yet. I'm going to trim it up so it's ready to go, but I mean, it'd be like the first time somebody put together a Panzer IV, like, this isn't right. Why? Well, the turret ring is skewed to one side as opposed to the other. Oh, that's the way it's supposed to be. Like, it is? I mean, now we know why, because of the transmission, but things that just don't seem right. Okay. I'm going to leave that there just to assemble to the next thing. Yeah, and it does show it kind of skewed leaning forward, right? And it's kind of leaning forward. I don't know, maybe it's the right place, but I got my doubts. But all right, I gotta use a restroom. I gotta take a wee bit. I'll be right back. Okay. Oh, more people showed up while I was gone. Oh, good. There's nobody on screen. I don't have to look at Tony. Let's subscribe. All right. Off to the next one. Oh, we got to build engine parts. Okay. Engine part stuff. I remember way back in the day, the aircraft I built up there in the 80s, the worst models were the American ones. Monogram sucked, and Revell was even worse. And don't even get me started about Lindbergh. Lindbergh is just crap. And then I saw another one the other day I hadn't seen in a long time. Glencoe models. I remember Glencoe models being a piece of shit. Okay. Propeller. No, it already came out. Oh, it's got two. It's got an inner and an outer. Interesting. Intéressant. Okay. Okay. There's those two. We've got the one that has all the cylinders. How many is it? Is it 12 or 8? No. 9. A 9-cylinder engine. A nine-cylinder radial engine. That is weird. That is weird. Wee. Okay. That's the two propellers. There's that one. Move this stuff over here. I'd much rather this be a plastic model than a white metal one that you have to glue with super glue and stuff. Because you can adjust this stuff as you go. You go to try to put another piece on, it doesn't fit right. You can wiggle it a little bit. Piece number 19 is a white piece. What's wrong with the comments? We have a comment problem again? Nope. Everybody's got their head down. Okay. And 20, which is this little piece right here. There we go. I'm really enjoying this, like a lot. So this is, remember, I started working on a P40 and the Spitfire, and I stopped because there was all these like paint the inside. I'm gonna do it right. I just like lost momentum. I still have all the pieces. I'm gonna just roll right into them. Like, don't worry about the cockpit. Paint it when it's all put together. You know, everyone busy modeling. What? That's what we're here for, man. I don't like doing this alone. I don't. It's boring. I I actually kind of like all this stuff behind me. You know, because well, I don't have anywhere to put it. We're gonna need a bigger room. I need to organize this stuff in here, but I like it out here. You know, I like this. Put this stuff in the baggies and take it to the spray station. Yeah, I may end up gluing the wings on before I do it. I don't know. I am looking forward to messing with the airbrush though today. But I'm not going to do that until I come back from doing our Sunday shopping. Going to go with the missus and do our. I don't mind doing that. Not talk about any of the stuff that I talked to you guys about. Could be worse. I could be like into somebody that's like really into history and they want to argue with you about it all the time. That'd be worse. So it was an ad on Facebook for some game that was coming out with some about colonizing things. I need to find what it is. And people just came unglued the comments. All these woke people that, had to had to change their tampons. Like, man, laugh a little bit, man. Nobody's promoting that stuff of old. Come on. Oh man. Mm. Okay, so we got some nomenclature here. Glue 19 to 18. Okay. Glue 16 to 17, but don't glue 18 to 19. Well, I don't care if the propeller turns. It'd be handy to make the propeller turn if I had to like paint around it. So I don't necessarily want to glue it shut, but it's not the end of the world. I've seen examples online of people painting the canopy black or silver to avoid having to paint the cockpit. Works well for aircraft or wargaming. Won't win prizes at shows though. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm sure I'll make the right decision when I do. Um, why do these always want to come undone? You sons of bitches. Um, the Airfix MPC Opal Blitz didn't have any windows. They literally are like an open cab. So I didn't build any windows. The Plastic Soldier Company ones, Soviet trucks, I just painted them dark with a wash. I'm perfectly happy with that. I like the way I do headlights. I haven't found a way to do windows that I'm happy with, but I'm not worried about it. I'm probably not going to paint them black. They need to be not as well. I guess they are shiny. I guess they're supposed to be shiny. I want them to look like the rest of my wargaming things. So if my wargaming things don't look realistic enough for people that build planes, so be it. But they need to be consistent looking. And they're not going to have any powder, and they're not going to have any chipping. Just not a fan of that. I'm my own style that works for me. I'm not trying to convert anybody either, man. You like how you do things, do it. You want to paint things in just one color, do it. It needs to make you happy. I'm all about your happiness. But this, I feel like doing this next, and you just do it. Not like I gotta build 12 more stands of, almost said the word, I almost said the PS word, skirmishers for this show, so I could play with this army. I'm never doing that shit again. Put all that pressure of getting it done by a certain time to be able to put it on a show, just to have 3 people show up. Like, even if 40 people showed up, I still don't want to do it. As long as I'm working on stuff. Because then you're like, man, this is taking too long, man. I need to cut corners. Like, let's do this right. Okay. I just realized this is too low. I can feel it in my neck already. Let's raise this to the same height. Of course, the chair is the same as my other table. And actually, this table will go like another foot higher. Like, I could work on it standing up if I wanted to. I don't want to put a kink in my neck. Now they're both the same height. Like 18 inches from the seat to the floor, and 18 inches from the seat to this. I was really unhappy with my headlights until I found somebody that did them, and I'm like, all right, let's replicate that. And I really like the way my headlights look. Headlamps. No headlamps on planes, though. All right. These two are glued in with each other, so let's see how they fit. At 90 degrees. I'm pretty sure. And they don't fit in there great, so let me flip them. And that's how they fit well. Okay, and then we have this engine here, which apparently has this piece this way. I would have never done this as a kid. What do you test fit everything before, right? Ain't nobody got time for that. Okay, and then this fits like so. And this is a little end cap on it. Okay, now we can realize what it is that we need to glue onto what. Okay, so these two glue together. So let's say I wanted to rig this thing. What should I use for that? Stretch sprue? We don't want to glue this inside of this. But we do want to glue this to this. I'm not even looking what it's telling me to do. I was reading that over multiple times. It didn't make any sense to me. This is going to be glued to this. And then this is going to be glued only, so I got to be really careful, just to this tab here. And now, if this is held in place, this should spin, but I don't want to pull this thing out or we have a different problem. So let's push this all the way in. Yeah, as a kid, I would have never even had tweezers. You know, I wouldn't have had cutters. I'd be lucky to have an exact. I'd have to borrow Dad's X-Acto knife. I wouldn't have my own. You know, you gotta have disposable income to like pay $20 for a set of cutters like that. That's like 2 models. Screw that. Well, at the show, it would have been 5 models. All right. The tail. You know, doing some aircraft, you get maybe some people that are into aircraft. I know the people at the model club are really into aircraft. You know, I like aircraft. Flying's weird. I don't like to fly. I will. I don't like to fly. Too difficult to get that thing, the cutters in here. We're just kind of cut it way far away from the piece so we don't put a notch in it that then we feel like we got to fix. Okay, are the supports both the same? No. Okay, let's just clean this up and then set this off to the side. I would have looked more at the ships. They had a bunch of waterline 1/700 scale ships. I'm just not getting into that. That's like anything else that I have. I'm not going to turn into the Yorkshire gamer and end up playing a naval game on the you know in my neighborhood. That's well, it'd have to be in the freaking neighborhood. Calling range estimate with walkie talkies. All right, one gun's gonna fire at 53 meters, 54 meters, and 55 meters. Did I get a hit? Shit, we gotta paint the pavement blue before we can play. I don't want to look into those models and possibly be tempted. They had all kinds of stuff there. Hey, honey, there's a Messerschmitt on the table. Clean it up for me, would you? That part of a movie? Man, I haven't seen him in a long time. You know what movie I've never seen? I've never seen Caddyshack. How could you never have seen Caddyshack? Okay, first of all, I don't have any older siblings that I live with. Okay, so a lot of kids that, you know, when that movie came out, was it 1982, 81? I'm like 10, 11 years old. I shouldn't be watching a rated R movie. I didn't have one of those parents that like, hey, watch whatever you want. We're going to go smoke a doob, right? Or whatever parents do now to let their kids raise themselves. So I didn't watch it when I was a kid. As an adult, I just haven't seen it on anywhere for free. He's in Caddyshack, isn't he? I think he is. Anyways, Back to School's a movie that I need to see that again, man. When Kennison goes fucking nuts. I remember the day Sam Kinison died. He's a funny motherfucker, but I like comedians that get angry. I get that. Comedians with freaking gusto. We tried watching that Nate Bargatze or whatever his name is. Like, man, that guy was dull as shit. But you know, that's the thing about comedians. There's enough different ones that you're going to find one that appeals to you. All right. This has little supports on the bottom. This has little supports on the bottom. So now we know this is here. This is here. This one's here. Now, this is super unique. I've never seen something like this before. Check this out. So you've got these two tabs, right? I'm learning this stuff for the first time too. I've never built one of these kits before. These tabs go here, but it's a slot. Like normally it would be like two little holes. Well, there's tabs on the other side too. And if you look at the cross section, they're going to interlock one inside the other like that. That's pretty neat. Let's make it happen. Now, I want to do a good job with this thing, but at the end of the day, this thing has raised panel lines, not recessed ones. So they're 180 degrees wrong. And that's kind of a big deal because I'm going to emphasize them by using a wash. So I'm going to be emphasizing them the wrong. What's going on here? Does it not does it not fit all the way in? Okay, now it is. Yeah, I would not have been able to put this together as a child. Wait. Something queer is afoot. There we go. God, it's so weird being molded in all these weird ass colors. You know, these colors, they'd be like, Rescue Rangers. I'm gonna cheat them up a little bit. I don't want them to be down when we go and add the supports. Now, will this balance? Yes. Okay. Cool. All right. It fits together pretty darn good. All right. We need 23 and 24. Let's just do one side. So this is this side over here. All right, let's do 23 and 24. No idea what color these things are. What a great hobby this is. And the thing is I'm going to be in a great mood all day long because I did this first thing in the morning. Here's 23. ¿Dónde está 24? Here's 24. All right. 23 is here. $24 is over here. I remember the last thing we put together. I don't remember what it was. We put together something, and my wife, we were putting it together like a piece of furniture or something. And my wife was being super anal retentive, and it was really interesting what she was doing. She took a piece of tape. We we laid out all the parts. I'm just going way over the top, laying out all the parts, and would write down like this. These are all the A's, and lay all the A's down. So she would like pre-arrange things. Could do the same thing here with models. Hey, bring the wife along. I get a lot more views, unfortunately. Whatever that means. 23 goes in the back, 24 goes in the front, and now I don't remember which one's longer. Are they the same? It might be the same. They're not. All right. That's okay. That's right. I believe the 23 is the shorter one. We're going to confirm that. 23. If 23 is the shorter one, it's the one in the back. And if the one in the back is shorter, then it should be the same length as 54. So 54 is the one that goes in the back. So which one of these matches 54? And let's see if I'm right. That's correct. The one in the back is shorter. Okay. Fair enough. Now, unlike the Messerschmitt kit, it actually had a hole for these supports in the back, and it had almost like a little wedge piece where it kept it at that angle. This does not. This is a complete bar. So, before we get carried away, we are going to try to test fit this. Make sure these are kind of level, right? And see if it looks like that fits between there and there. It looks like it fits there between there and there. Between there and there, beautifully. Now, these pieces have a tiny little bit of flash. I'm going to scrape them on the model. There's not a whole lot of pressure I have to put on it. Okay. I'm going to go there. And there. Which means this one is the front one. And it fits there beautifully. Okay. Let's do the same on the other side. Yeah, this is, you know, I need a reminder. Hey, dumbass, make sure you have this at the right height. Like this is or even higher, I guess. Set your chin on the top. All you'd see is, you know. You can take things too far. This is 53 and 54, and now we know that the short guy goes on the back. Okay. How's this spinning thing looking? Perfect. That's going to come in handy to paint. Then once it's painted, we can glue it in place. All right. 53 and 54. 53 goes here. Oh, somehow it already popped off. Conrad Popov. Okay, and 54 is here. All right, let's trim those two pieces down. Longer one goes up front. I mean, they're pretty close to the same size, but you could probably make one work where the other one doesn't, but let's not go there. Okay. That stage is done. Where we go next, boss? Watch this. Handiest stuff to have around. Well, one of the handiest things to have around. Let's pull two things over here. This is one of them. And the other one is... That's not necessarily the one I was looking for. I'm looking for my big ball of stickum. Damn, you top heavy. Back heavy. My 12-year-old self would be like, "You're a wizard." Yep. Got to learn from other people, man. That's how we move forward. You learn from other people what to do and what not to do. All right, so I don't have this thing glued together yet. Because I have my doubt that this is correct. Even though the instructions say to do this, I got a bad feeling about this, Sarge. Damn, this doesn't fit right like it's supposed to. Is the engine on the Walrus not off? Is it off to one side? All right, let me overthink this. Okay, that won't work. That could work, but it's back asswards. So that doesn't really matter. All right. Time for the computer. Let's lose this. Let's lose this. And let's see if we can find a picture of the Supermarine Walrus head-on. I really should put these somewhere else. I rarely use them. And they're just in the wrong place. And you should just go away. All right. Computer's not plugged in. Well, that's it. How much juice I got? 0.75. Pin's incorrect because I fat fingered it. 4. Okay. Supermarine Walrus head on. Images. Here's a sketch. It doesn't look like it. Maybe maybe the model's bad. Scale mates 1/48 Airfix instructions. All right, we'll go there. It just seems like something doesn't seem right. Scale mates 1/48 Airfix Walrus. Images. All. Hold on, I'll be right back. I gotta go to the restroom. All right, let's see what we got here. I hate it. 1/48 scale. I hate it. Yeah, this is the one that actually has the paint scheme for Sheffield. Just download the instructions. I don't like 48 scale because this doesn't go with anything. And like I said, it's that whole Lionel train set BS. So the inside of it looks good. It's got like all the supports and shit on it. That's good. Okay. Well, what we need is still not there. Is it off to one side a little bit? Or is this model just wrong? I can't tell from that. Damn me and my wet hands. All right. Wash my hands. I always leave my hands wet. What is this thing? So, there we go. This looks like a really nice model, by the way. Looking at the instructions, this is a really nice model. Okay, here's a close-up. Get rid of this towering thing. Yeah, it kind of does look like it's off to one side more than the other one. I mean, ever so slightly. Ah, yes, I went there. It actually looks like a really good model. Although I'd hate to have to make every one of those rivets pop. Show me head on view. Yeah, here's the paint schemes. Yeah, I think I'm gonna paint mine like that Sheffield one. I'll have to find what Vallejo equivalent colors are. I'm not that they'll be close enough for me. All right. Well, I guess I'm just gonna have to go with it. That's where it has the holes, anyways. Um. So yeah, this says top. Put that towards the top. Let's go back to where it was. I guess I have to glue it. It just doesn't seem logical. B is top is here. B is this way, with the B towards the inside, and top is here, with the arrow this way. It's just not. See how there's a bigger opening on this side than there is on this one. So when you put this in, see how there's a gap here on this side of the yellow part and hardly one on the other side? It just doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem right. Now, we're not building this for IPMS, ABC, anything, so. But it does sit straight. That's so weird. That's so weird. All right, let's read this a little bit forward. And this end cap's going to go over here. It's going to close that up, right? And then the other side will be back here. Let's just roll with it, you know? I'm not going to remanufacture the pieces. I'm not going crazy. I'm not going crazy because of that. Eight-year-old me would have given up. I still like, dude, I didn't even have my fingerprint there. It's not a big deal. And this goes with the B hidden on the inside. Like so, I mean, it fits in there perfectly. It's just weird that it has the opening all to one side. Maybe that was the way the engine was. You know, when things are not symmetrical, it casts doubt as if you're doing it correctly. Okay. This goes on the back. This notch isn't noticeable. Thought you slipped. You slippery joker. I mean, it fits perfectly. That's how it's going to have to go. Either that or it just seems wrong. If there would have been a note on there that said, "Hey, by the way, it sits to one side more than the other because of whatever reason." I mean, it's not skewed or anything like that Hetzer from that Italy rebranded Eschi Hetzer. That thing was a nightmare. You had to put these two halves, and it's supposed to be like this diamond shape. We're looking at it from the front, and it was always skewed one way or another. That was not fun to build. And this goes on the top. Which way are the notches towards? The back. Ain't no kid putting this together. Certainly not kids these days. With the attention span of a crack addict. Okay, I think what we need to do is I'm not going to get a drill bit out here. I think expanding this just a little bit. Make all the difference in the world. Yep. Now, let's drop it in the hole and not on the peg. Because if you drop it on the peg, sometimes I've seen this happen before. Maybe not with this model. I've seen it literally melt the peg. And then you got a different problem. I think this engine is just cheated to one side. Ever so slightly. Because it's sitting completely flat. The wings are completely flat. Now, that's enough. Just a little bit to... Somehow that one got away from me. Okay, so that looks good. And now we got to attach this to the top here. Shouldn't be a problem with a thin glue. Poly cement melts the plastic. So I only use this glue. And when I built the Hetzer, I was putting the suspension. So if you can imagine what the Hetzer looks like, I'm pretty sure I built it on live. I don't know where it is, but you've got the torsion bar suspension. So you've got the little pegs, and you put the big road wheel on top of it, the big Czech 38 road wheel, which doesn't have any detail on the backside. It's just like it's like a garbage can lid. It's like an old school garbage can lid. And you put that on. So I put glue to put all these things on top of it. And I put it on there, and it literally melted the plastic off of it. Like it's now it's teetering on. I had so much problem with it. Maybe it was just that plastic. Wasn't a fan of that kit at all. Now I'm going to have to force fit some of this stuff. It's a good thing this doesn't weigh anything. Oh. Thank God for tweezers. It's being a little difficult. It'll get straightened out, and then it'll cure. It'll be cured in the right place. And everything will be well with the world. Imagining him manhandling this with your fingertips. I think that's it right there. What's this thing called? Shagbat? Shag nasty. I can't think what it's called. Yeah, it's weird. It is weird. It's like skewed, but everything's straight. Huh. Oh well. That'll work. The thin glue is a solvent. It will do that if you use too much. I try to make my own sprue goo, although I still have some liquid green stuff. I haven't had any luck. I should try making that stuff sometimes, at some point. It's telling me to put a cockpit on it. I'm not putting the cockpit on right now. I see two wing halves that need to be assembled. I'm going to move this guy. I don't want to clip it and knock the little guy down. Two wing halves. All right. My nose feels different. I can tell I've absorbed a lot of dust. There's a lot of dusty kits at this place. So what's your preference between Airfix and Matchbox? You have to pick one. I don't know that I have one. I haven't. Oh, well, how the hell did that happen? How the hell is there 4 wing sections? I didn't even think about there being pieces. How the F did that happen? Oh, because it's a biplane. Dumbass. All right. Dumbass. It's Dumas. No, it isn't. It's apparently dumbass. I forgot this thing was a biplane. And a pusher. Let's just pull all the pieces out. We'll know the right ones when we get there. The Hoffman, what's up? You're jealous you got some of these planes were so cheap. I'm always looking at estate sales and cheap kits for Kit Bash. You saw my unboxing thing? It's insane. The insane one was like, you could any kits in this any kits here are $4, buy one get one free. And I'm like, is it buy one get one free or $4? Yes. So you buy one kit for $4 and the other one is free. That's insane. That's insane. That's insane. Insane. I should have bought them all. No, but I didn't want to. One guy told me, hey, you should just buy all these up. I said, no, I don't want to end up like you. You know, I bought this for $4, and then this one was free. Like, and there's nothing wrong with these things. Insane. Insane. I think I can get $2 worth of enjoyment out of each. No, watch my video last night. The video I did last night. I go through all this stuff that I picked up. It's just crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Well, I wanted to get a Messerschmitt to do crash, right? So we got that. So she's going to go to paint land for the airfield. And like, I didn't want to risk like a good kit on that because I'm apprehensive. I probably shouldn't be, but I'm apprehensive. And in the process, I'm like, well, I if it works, I need more than one kit, one or more crash plane. And I'm looking. I wanted 109s. I wanted 109Es. That's an F. I did some quick looking, like, yeah, that's state of the art about the right time. And I'm like, well, okay, well, I'll take that little Soviet biplane because Jeffrey said use it for the night witches. It's a good looking little plane. Stuff at these model shows are priced to move. Not everybody's stuff, but most things are. There's a lot of stuff under $10 for models. A lot. And a fair amount of 5 and under. Usually 5 or 4. Usually nothing goes under $5, but they just have too much stuff. Or like one guy that I bought all those Osprey books for him for $3 for 10. 3 of them for 10. He knew some guy who was trying to get rid of his stuff. It was in an estate sale. Yeah. Check out, you live in Texas. Check out IPMS shows, model shows, and go to them. It's amazing. It's amazing the stuff that's out there. And yeah, and then you feel a little bit more like, okay, well, if I screw this up, I'm only throwing away $2 or something, and build it. You know. Well, I don't have a problem painting. I like painting things, but some people are like, oh, I like building. I don't like painting. I'm like, I like painting. I don't. If I could do one, I'm painting, not building. And I didn't need any of this stuff. But hey, we get to hang out together and do it. So I got another show in June, so we got to put a dent on this stuff. Or I'm not buying more shit unless we put a dent on this, because we're not gonna end up like those people. The cheap hobby got even cheaper. So they're mostly like for scenarios and stuff like that, but I've wanted a Walrus for a long time. It's like your typical float plane on British capital ships of the Second World War. Float planes are cool. If I was building planes just to build planes, I would have gotten a Japanese one. Because I've never built a Japanese plane. It's coming. First one I should build should be a Tony. Although they have that crazy camouflage scheme on the bare metal. We can do it. There's enough wizards out there sharing their information. We can learn from them. I saw that Painting Panzers just put out a video on, or at least a picture, about how to play some SS camo with using the Yeo paints. So not that I wouldn't mind doing it by myself, but hey, might as well use whatever knowledge he gained as well. I'm sure other people do the same thing with my stuff. We all have to cooperate and confiscate. No, cooperate and, not be adversarial. Yes, dust is. All right, now we got all 8 halves. This goes here. which means the other two with this little notch go together. Yeah, it's crazy. And I found stuff in there. I have moments of disappointment and things that have surprised me. I found things I didn't think I'd gotten with them. But you know, if I make a real video, a video, people aren't going to see it. People are just like, I'm not going to sit. People don't see through the, and it sets me back. It sets me back probably 6 hours. So I'd rather just keep moving forward. If nobody's going to watch my video anyways, we'll just do it live. More people watch the live stuff. At least they'll come check it out. Maybe you'll see something that catches your attention. But having to edit a full video and everything, that'll set me back 6-8 hours. I don't mind doing it if people watch it, but you know, I did that video last night. It's already got over 400 views. If I had made a video, I probably would have gotten 80 by now. So okay, I think we got everything where it's supposed to be. Let's double check. So this one that has the hole should have the pegs on the other side. Okay, so that makes sense. That makes sense. And these obviously have the notches. They definitely go together. All right, so let's assume I glued all those together. What do I do next? Man, killing me, Smalls. All right. And there was a shitload of ships, man. I know you're into ships. I am too. I just can't play a war game with them. You know, I have to take over the whole neighborhood. Have to be like it'd have to be like a baseball field and paint everything blue. It's a lot of setup time. And I don't really want to get into I don't really want to get into stuff that's not compatible with other things that I already have. Like there was a bunch of like little destroyers and stuff that somebody had. I'm like, I don't want to buy a 700 scale destroyer and just paint it for this ship theme for the model thing, because it starts sending me in a bunch of different directions. You know, I like everything being the same scale. Especially for people that go, hey, look at your stuff, and you don't have to explain to them, like, man, why is that ship so small? No, actually, it's really big. It's just zoom. You're just zoomed out because it's a smaller scale. Explain all that stuff to people. Keep it simple. I wonder if it's that. 1974 Lenzi products. Wings are hollow. Lesney. Did I say it wrong? Lesney. Sorry. Sorry about that. Okay, man. Be well. Thanks for stopping by. Lesney. The Canadian farewell. Sorry about that. I think these instructions are better than Airfix instructions, or at least that one set of Airfix instructions. I don't know if I have a preference between the two. I like the box art on the Matchbox better. Well, I really like the artwork on the MPC, which are Airfix models, better. But yeah, that's attractive. One of the two Walrus amphibian aircrafts carried by the town-class cruiser HMS Sheffield, landing in Hong Kong Harbor, 1938. Everything's good except I don't like doing pre-war stuff. So it is going to be for old shiny. It's just going to be in World War II livery. Leslie Smith and Rodney Smith were founding partners. Lesney. Oh, okay. Leslie and Rodney. Rodney, that's another... Man, I love me some Rodney battleship. That was one of my favorite ships. Not Nelson, Rodney. Nelson was in the wrong places. Or Rodney was in the right places. I had one. I think it was a Tamiya. I had a Tamiya Scharnhorst. I had Tamiya Rodney. Relatively late, like in the 90s. But I was still stupid enough not to paint the hull gray. I left the gray the color it was. The plastic. But I painted the deck and stuff. And I don't know what happened to them. I gave them away, threw them away, something in one of my moves 30 years ago, probably. I wouldn't want to have them now and fix them up. I'd rather just buy another kit. That's really what I want to, but oh, here it is. Purple Range. 176 scale. Military vehicles. Sherman Firefly. A-34 Comet Mark I. Panther G. Panzer III L. Humber Mark II. Puma. Vespa. M16 Half-Track. M24 Chaffee. Jagdpanther. See, a Jagdpanther actually would have been something I would have bought. Nobody had one at any price. I didn't need it. Just something I would have got. That national one skipped through my fingers, but that's okay. Then I'll worry about making a crew for it. But national one is a really attractive vehicle, as far as I'm concerned. It is really well. It just looks good. It's a good-looking vehicle. And they made about the same amount of those as they did King Tigers, just shy of 500. Another vehicle that had its debut at Kursk. And they were all in the north part. They were all in modals. Modal stuff. Most of the Tigers were in the south. All the Ferdinands were in the north. All the Nash ones were in the north. All the Goliaths were in the north because they were with the Elephants. All the Panthers were in the south. I think the Brumbar had its debut too at Kursk. I'm pretty sure those were in the north. That's the case. Now, the one thing surprised me is that some of the Russian tank brigades had mixed, I knew they had mixed T-34s and T-70s. They were supposed to be about equal number. And they had some Churchill Mark IVs mixed in too, which we know which one of those tanks shows up at the battlefield last. I mean, the Churchill's a great tank compared to those other two. I mean, it's slow. Okay. What else has it got against it? All right. This is going to change the center of balance for sure. So these have the pegs here. And this has the pegs here. I mean, these things fit really well. I'm honestly pretty surprised. I'm really pretty surprised. Yeah, there's no 8-year-old putting this shit together. It's getting tossed. Oh, hold on one second. Okay, folks, well, we're going to have to wrap up. Man, 3.5 hours. 3.5 hours never goes this fast. So we're going to do the wings when we get back. I think I'm gonna finish putting this thing together before I go and paint the Messerschmitt. I think that's fair because that way I've got all this together. We can prime them both and so forth. All right, folks, thanks for stopping by. We'll see you guys on the next one later on today. Bye-bye.